Mr. Reddit Man presents Teachers of Reddit. What is the most ridiculous lie that you have ever heard one of your students tell their peers? One of my 7th grade students once told our entire class that his brother was friends with LeBron James and that LeBron was coming to our school to play him in a one-on-one game during a school assembly. I'm a part-time lunch monitor for 5th grade at my old grade school. I once heard a girl describe in detail how they go inside the egg to dye the yolk yellow, because otherwise it's red, and people will think it's blood. Also, I saw that one of the students was reading the book The Hobbit, so I started talking to him about it. I asked him how far he'd gotten, and he said he was on the last chapter. I then asked him what his favorite parts were. Everything he mentioned was in the first 2 chapters. I realized he had not gotten past chapter 2, but I just wanted to mess with him. I said, "How about that part where Bilbo fights Treebird?" To which he reacted, "Yeah, I like that part too." The kid behind him heard us and said, "Are you talking about Lord of the Rings?" The kid turned around and went off, describing again in detail the awesome fight between Bilbo and Treebird in The Hobbit. It was completely made up, but I'll tell ya, the kid could have written a book. His imagination was spectacular, especially for having made it up on the spot. Teacher's aide here. One time I was sitting in on a 1st grade lunch group and heard one of the children telling the others that he had an iPhone in his pocket. Every other child then began to comment and say they too had an iPhone, but for various reasons it was not with them. Kids are funny. When they start a lie, they will go down with that ship before admitting it's not true. They said in kindergarten that 7-Up came out of the water fountain if you were the 7th person in line after gym. I'm pretty sure that was a big fat lie. For me, the rumor was, in the 1st grade, that if you drank 5 Alive, you would die in 5 days. No one drank 5 Alive after that. What the duck is 5 Alive? It's like a citrus juice drink. When I was in high school, my friend said his dad kept a tiger as a pet in his office, and that he could ride the tiger like a horse whenever he wanted. Notice, I said high school. Intern at an elementary school here. Had a 2nd grade girl successfully convince a group of about 5 of her peers that her 19-year-old boyfriend bought her an engagement ring worth $9,000. Future gold digger. Not sure how well this fits here, but there was a rumor going around school, high school, mind you, that one of my classmates had popped a testicle on a roller coaster at 6 Flags. Supposedly he was sitting just wrong when the shoulder restraint came down. Anyway, his response to the banter was, "Well, I was born with 3 balls, so now I'm normal." As if that makes it better at all. A friend of mine was very intelligent, but ultimately unmotivated and had to repeat honors biology in high school. This was fine with him as he was a year ahead in math and science like many other kids, and now he was back on his grade level. Having taken the course already, he knew most of the material and coasted through easily this time. During this 2nd time through, he sat next to a girl who was a year younger. Despite being a nice girl who was popular and a very hard worker, that made straight A's. She was a bit of an airhead and not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Every time the teacher asked a question to the class, my friend would mutter the correct answer under his breath, and the girl began to notice that he was always right. One day, no doubt in an innocent effort to impress the teacher and feel good about herself, the girl decided to listen to what my friend was saying and correctly answer the question confidently in front of the whole class. So when the teacher asked the class what initiates mitosis in the body, my friend thoughtlessly mumbled ... robots under his breath, not skipping a beat. The girl shot her hand up in the air and shouted robots, excitedly and confidently. There was a brief pause in the room while the teacher stared at her incredulously, decided to ignore that response entirely and move on with the lesson. Poor girl was terribly embarrassed. Arsehole friend and I laughed our asses off after class. This reminds me of my friend from 3rd grade. At that point my best subject was math, and she knew that. She would always follow my lead in a sense of agree with everything I said, and did everything I did. "What's your favorite color?" "What's yours?" "Green." "Same." "Oh, I meant blue." So did I. One day we had an easy test with basic multiplication, and I noticed she was copying my answers. So I wrote completely fake answers, many including 12x3 equals 1000 and things like that. I was literally trying to make her notice that I knew, but she did not stop. She kept copying. So I finished my test with word answers and sat back. She walked up to the front to hand her test in, and I erased it all and redid the test in a few minutes. She watched me do this with her jaw dropped. I remember standing up when I was done and whispering to her never copy and walking to the front. She cried. Not even joking. Felt bad. But meh. I teach high school. I overhear weird things all day. But the one sticking in my mind right now is the time I heard a kid trying to convince his classmates that he had an FBI contact training him to be in the FBI. He had a secret handshake that he taught the students he was talking to, then started yelling about how he was not supposed to tell anyone and the FBI was going to kill him. He quickly changed his story saying that they only knew one of the handshakes, so everything would be okay. This kid makes up weird stories like that all the time. I had a similar one telling people he worked for the FBI hacking websites. He also claimed he worked with a biotech firm using quantum computing to reprogram viruses. This kid cannot even grasp the basics of kinematics and dynamics. Edit for clarity. Yep, by viruses I did mean the biological ones, not the computer ones. I once convinced someone that Marxism was a belief that your marks in high school were the most important thing in life, and this person believed me for almost a year. I once told a teacher after I skipped class that I was at the doctor getting immunization shots ... for my trip to Canada. Illy that group work tonight. Liar, liar. My favorite. Junior year of high school. The year is 1998. This kid made up stories to impress girls, which shockingly worked a large percentage of the time. Kid claims he was allowed to bring his katana sword on an airplane for a weekend trip to Pakistan. This white kid had no connection to Pakistan. Claims he went after school on Friday and got back before class on Monday. His second story, which he confusingly told along with the first story, was that Quentin Tarantino thought this kid was so awesome that he brought him into a bar in Texas and bought the kid drinks all night. But who am I to laugh? The guy's now vice president of Jupiter. So whatever. That smile last piece of gum, I hear that every day. App history teacher here. So to explain, before any major tests I give my kids a free class to study. They are allowed to use anything available to them. Phones, other students, me, or anything else. So a few weeks back they were reviewing for a test that would cover Chernobyl. One of the students asked where Pripyat was located. Now in this class I have one student who is a total smartass. He pipes up that the city was located in Texas. To my stunned amazement, not only did the questioner believe him, but several others hurriedly scratched out their previous correct answers and wrote down Texas. After the test they all got mad at me for refusing to grade on a curve because all but like 4 of them got that question wrong. Edit. Smartass kid got the question right. I was subbing in 4th grade the other day and overheard 2 girls talking about Christmas. One of the girls said, "Santa always gets to Maryland at 3 a.m. ... Just the way she said it sounded so condescending, haha. I convinced my entire 8th grade class that my dad was the creator of Swanson brand soup. My gym teacher was actually the one to start it. I had just moved from Alaska to the south and did not like the kids very well. So my gym teacher and I just started seeing how much they'd believe. They will believe anything if you keep a straight face. Not a teacher, but in one of my classes this jock insists that his dad works for the government and acquired some secret codes that allowed him and his family to watch movies early, such as The Hobbit and Ender's Game. My student turned to his friend and grumbled out this gem. "We do not need to know this stuff for our degree. I teach chemistry." This was a chemical engineering student. In high school chemistry class a kid next to me said, "I do not need to know this malarkey. I'm going to be a drug dealer." We were going over conversion of grams and milligrams. I assume that would be the most important thing he'd learn in school for his career. I peed my panties. He pooped in them. Edit. This was a 5-year-old in my kinda music class. He was talking about his pants. I convinced my 2nd grade classmates that I could write in Korean and taught them all how to write their names. The teacher eventually saw what I was doing but had the good graces to not call me out on it. I knew right away that she knew I was a dirty liar. High school teacher reporting in. A senior in my class keeps telling the other students that he is being recruited to play dividend. One football. Seems like every week he has a new story about visiting a college and being treated like a king by the head coach. According to the football coach, who is also a teacher at my school, he was only a starter because there was no one else to fill the position ... and he has not been contacted by a single school. Not even dividend. 3 schools. Pro tip. If you lie to your peers, then I'm going to assume that you lie to me. Trust is hard to earn and very easy to lose. I was interning for a 1st grade art class and I overheard this gem. Little girl. Do you know what cauliflower is? Little boy. No. Little girl. It's what comes out of your ears when you punch yourself in the face too hard. We were on the subject of Martin Luther King Jr. in my class, and this girl starts talking about how she is related to him and that it's her uncle. Schweit. Not saying it's not possible, but come on. This girl was full of outrageous lies. FYI, according to her, the inside of golf balls are made of chocolate. Preschool teacher. My little ones are full of good stories, but totally full of malarkey. I tried to explain to them what a lie was, and that it was bad. My students cannot distinguish between a fib and just being wrong. So my poor struggling students are now mocked and called liar by their classmates when they answer a question wrong. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Miss Carly Miller. Second Carly. Ethan is a liar. He did not say Wednesday. If you are reading this, you made it until the end of the video. There is no more after this. Click the thumbs up button since you liked the video because you made it until the end. On screen there should be some more videos similar to this. So either go do something else or watch another video. That's it. I do not know why you are still here. What are you waiting for, a secret message or something? Okay. Are you ready? The message is subscribers enjoy 2 great Reddit videos every day. Yeah, I know. What are you expecting though? This is a YouTube channel.